It's a scene that feels pretty familiar. A cold day, a warm cup of coffee, and two women sitting down to talk.
And most conversations like that come and go without much notice. But every once in a while, one simple moment ends up changing lives in ways no one could have imagined. So on this Throwback Thursday, Jim Duffy from Secrets of the Eastern Shore is here to share the story of a coffee conversation back in 1868.
That's right, it's a moment that helped shape the future for thousands of Eastern Shore children, including some right here in our community. So welcome.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
This story begins on a cold day. There's a recurring theme here.
Appropriately enough. It's a theme. A woman named Anna Earl. She's all worked up about something. She's just all fired up about something. She lives in the town of Queen Anne. She gets in, she just got to get something off her chest, so she gets in a carriage. She rides all the way down to Easton, 15 miles. The snow starts falling when she's going, you know, and so she's like violating the rules out on the road during the snowfall and all that. But she gets to the home of her friend, Mrs. Dawson, and Mrs. Dawson makes a really funny error. She thinks that the only possible reason she would drive through the snow in this horrible weather is because she's a spinster and she's about to announce that she's getting married. Oh. She's like, oh my gosh, who's the lucky guy? But she was all wrong. She was worked up about something else. She was worked up about something very serious. She was worked up, this is right after the Civil War. A lot of men died in the Civil War. There was also a smallpox epidemic. A lot of men and women died in the smallpox epidemic. And that left a lot of single parents out here on Delmarva Peninsula. Single parenting is tough today. Single parenting was 10 times tougher in those days. Very difficult for women to find a job and get money. Very difficult for men to find childcare when they were out working. And a lot of people had to give up their kids. And the options were really kind of horrible. You could give them up to an almshouse, which was not really built for children. That's where like debtors went and all that kind of thing, and they stayed. So there was nothing really child rearing about it, and there was also a lot of people with mental illness in there, made it more challenging. And the other was you give them away to an apprenticeship on a farm, in which case the farmer agrees to feed the child in exchange for the child's labor. And some farmers were pretty good about that. Other farmers, not so much. And so it's hard to say what exactly got Anna Earl all upset. But, I don't know exactly, but she probably saw something. Maybe a kid working out in a field without proper winter clothes on, or just a kid looking sad and depressed. And that's what she just wanted to do something. We got to do something about this. And so the two of them have coffee. And they don't quite come up with a solution. They can't. They just talk, and it's like, well, at least I got it off my chest. And Anna Earl concludes by saying, perhaps God will show us the way.
Okay.
Okay, well, Faith? And
that's kind of sort of what happened. Like a year later, she was in church. The bishop gave a sermon about do to the least of those is what you do unto me and all that. And in the meantime, maybe she'd done a little research, or maybe she just stumbled across some information about what the German community up in Baltimore was doing, because they were at the forefront of a brand new thing here, which is to build an actual child-friendly orphanage. Not like the Oliver Twist, please sir, can I have some more, but an orphanage that was really trying to be full of love and education and child rearing. And so when the bishop gave that sermon, it brought it right back to her. And soon there was a committee of women associated with the church, and soon there was some money coming in from the Episcopal Church, and soon people all over the Eastern Shore were donating furniture and money and clothes, and they raised enough money to buy a building on Glebe Street in Easton, and the orphanage opened in 1871.
Wow.
It had the worst name in the history of childcare.
Which was?
The Home for Friendless Children of the Eastern Shore. I'm sure it sounded great in the 1870s, but it sounds so horrible. They would eventually change it to I forget what it was. They changed it later in the 1820s. But this place was up for 71 years. Wow. And in my book, Ordinary Heroes of Old Delmarva, I go through some case studies of the kids who were in there. And it really does seem like they were really trying to build this loving educational place. And they all talk about how normal their childhoods were when they're reminiscing about it later in life, and the friends they had, and the best phrase from it comes from one woman who was there in the 1930s, and she said they all had a nickname for themselves. They were the poor little rich girls. Because they had such a blessed life in this orphanage with their caretakers and everything like that.
So that cup of coffee paid dividends.
That cup of coffee paid dividends. That place was open for 78 some years.
Wow.
It closed in 1958, but the coffee is still going today because after the orphanage closed, they changed it to like a scholarship program for kids, and the Children's Home of Easton Foundation is still giving out scholarships. However many years
How about that?
we
It
are
evolved.
now, 150 years later.
That's incredible.
I hope some two ladies are out there having coffee today somewhere on the Eastern Shore, saying, we got to do something about this problem.
Never know.
I hope
You
so.
never
I hope
know.
so.
Jim Duffy, Secrets of the Eastern Shore, as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you.